Two dudes and a cage. We are back. UFC 284. We're your hosts. I'm Charles Clark.
And I'm Matt Johnson.
And we got another great night of fights for you. Oh, man, this card is going down. It's in Australia. There's a ton of Australian fighters, couple of New Zealand fighters on this card. There's a lot of cancellations and a lot of switch ups on this card. Makes me kind of wonder what happened there. But we're going to talk about the people who are actually fighting. First up, we got Zubaira Tukhugov versus Eleves Brenner. Man, Zubaira, man, he's got 7 KOs, 1 sub, trains out American Kickboxing Academy. He's a Sambo master. He's been in the UFC since like 2014, but he took a little bit of break. He's kind of inactive, which worries me a little bit. Eleves Brenner's got 1 KO, 11 subs, and this is his UFC debut. Man, a lot of people know how those debut fighters do. They get the big like jitters. They don't perform as well. Some guys can handle it. Some cannot. There's not a lot of information on some of these guys. So off of that pick, knowing that, I'm going with Zubaira. What about you, Matt?
Brenner's 13-3, and all his wins have been by submission. His losses have been by decision. Zubaira he's really a point fighter. He grinds you out, he takes you down. It's interesting because he doesn't take risks and he'll let it go to the judges. But with Brenner submission, if you take him down, you could get submitted. However, I think Zubaira is gonna be able to control the fight, and I think it's going to be a 15-minute fight, but I think he's going to get his hand raised. So I, too, go Zubaira.
Nice.
And then the next fight we got, this is another debut fighter. We got Shane Young versus Blake Bilder. Shane Young's on a 2-fight skid, and Blake Bilder is making his debut. He's a well-rounded young fighter. He has good grappling. He's got good striking. And Young he has a tendency to keep his head on that center line, and it leaves him prone to those big shots. I know we've said it before and never happens, but I think that if Bilder can stay behind his jab and mix in his wrestling and his grappling, I think he'll get his hand raised and Shane Young will go on a 3-fight skid.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Shane Young, he is from City Kickboxing, so he does train around a lot of good guys. He's got 6 KOs, 4 subs. He's got quite a few finishes on his record. That guy he fought in the Contender Series, he had him up against the cage, and the guy was just like on the back of his cage trying to dodge shots, and like just caught him with a left hook out of nowhere. And like you said, it's because he wasn't really moving. He was just standing there trying to throw on him, and guy was just kind of timed it out and figured it out. Bam. And Blake's got 1 KO, 4 subs. He was the Cage Fury champ. He's undefeated as a professional and an amateur. And watching Shane's previous performances and how he got knocked out before, I have a hard time picking him as well. I think, yeah, like you said, he's going to be on a 3-fight skid, probably even be out of the UFC after that.
Before we go to the next fight, like what's tough is when these fighters fight in gyms that have a lot of champions, they tend, not all the time, but a lot of the time there's those few fighters that are in the UFC or in Bellator that kind of get put on the back burner and don't evolve as much. And I feel like Shane Young is one of those guys that his game isn't evolving enough to make him a viable contender.
Yeah, for sure. That makes sense. I can see that. Yeah. There's a lot of guys out of City Kickboxing on this card too. So
yeah.
That and like you said, they probably have a ton of fighters there, and it's not one of the bigger names, so he probably doesn't get a lot of attention. I can see that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Full of little nuggets up here.
Right, right. I like it. I like it for sure. I mean, yeah, yeah. All right. After that, we got Loma Lockbone versus Elise Reed. Loma, oh man, she is a straight Muay Thai fighter. She's looking to strike. She's coming in hard. It's a good stylistic matchup for Elise Reed. Elise Reed is a striker herself. Um, Pretty sure she did taekwondo. She's taekwondo black belt or did taekwondo when she was younger. I know that's not quite comparable to Muay Thai, but it is a good striking discipline to have. There's a lot of people with striking karate backgrounds that make it to the UFC these days. So, Elise Reed, she just doesn't. She just doesn't really impress me a lot. She's a great fighter, but sometimes I don't see that high of an IQ in her fights. It just kind of comes out, and I wouldn't call her a brawler per se, but she just comes out and just tries to strike. I think if she tried to utilize like her pressure more, push someone back, get them against the cage, hold them, maybe even go for a takedown. It could play into her strengths a little bit better, but she doesn't do that enough. I think she's going to get into a primary striking match with Loma, and Loma's going to come out the victor. She's got better striking, in my opinion.
Ooh. So Loma is the 200 minus 200 favorite for this fight. But I think this would be a good one to take Elise Reed.
Nice.
Here's why. Elise, it's a straw weight. Elise Reed is normally a flyweight, so she's coming down. So she's gonna have a little more strength, essentially. Not much. She's not much of a powerful striker.
Or she's going to be drained.
Or she's gonna be drained. Yes, it could go either way with the weight cuts. At least, especially going down, not so much up.
Right.
But since Loma's a pressure fighter, I can see Elise Reed using that and getting a trip and getting her taken down because she's got really impressive ground and pound. So I think that Reed's going to be able to get a takedown and get some control time. And both fighters tend to go the distance. So it's not going to be, 13 minutes of war and then 2 minutes of hugging. But I think Reed's going to be able to use a little more grappling than Loma, and she's going to get a split decision win.
Sweet.
This next fight, this one was interesting because it's Jack Jenkins, who is a Contender Series alumni, versus Don Shainis.
Yeah.
And so Don Shainis is coming off of a submission loss to Sadiq Youssef, and Jack Jenkins is coming off of a Contender Series TKO. So Shainis isn't very good he's not horrible because obviously he's in the UFC, but he's coming off with issues of taking the takedown and grappling defense. Little issue lately. And with that, Jenkins on paper is better grappler, better wrestler, and a little bit, I'd give him the striking edge as well. So with that, I'm going with Jack Jenkins. He's going to get the victory.
Yeah. Man, Jack Jenkins, another Australian guy, 5 KOs, 3 subs. This guy is known for his crazy low kicks. Like, I can't remember if it's like his last 3 fights in a row, but he's broken the leg of the people he's kicked in like his last 3 fights or something like that. Just from leg kicks. He's got super hard leg kicks. Plus, he also fractured some dude's jaw. So like that alone is like, man, this dude's a beast. Don, he's got 8 KOs, 2 subs. He is a former Bellator fighter. He's also a Cage Titans vet. Cage Titans is a pretty big league if you're not familiar with it. So Don's no joke himself. Like you said, though, he is coming off that loss. Um, just those stats on Jack, the fights being in Australia, makes me pick him. I think he's gonna. I think he needs to be careful though because he could try. Someone that has a good game is going to be able to shut down his leg kicks eventually. Maybe not. Because they're so strong and even blocking the kicks. I don't know like how the legs broke but even he could have like Duke could have blocked the kick and got his leg broken that way. But if all you're thinking about is leg kicks, it can kind of throw your game off. And then once you get a leg kick landed on you and it hurts, that's all you can think about. And you're like, man, I do not want to take another one of those shots. What if I take another one of those? What if I can't move right? What if I can't get back up? And then you get knocked out. So, I'm picking Jack all the way in this one, man. I'm excited to see this fight. Excited to see what he does, honestly.
Yeah, it's a good early prelim main event.
Yeah. I think so too. I like how there's a ton of Australian fighters on this card and New Zealand. I know it's weird. I know it's nowhere near Australia, but for some reason New Zealand has ties to Australia. I'm not.
They're basically lumped together all the time.
At
least in the UFC, they always lump New
why?
Zealand and Australia together.
Are they? They're not related, are they? They're like like people from Australia went to New Zealand or something. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not a geographer, but
yeah, right. So anyway,
I do want to say they're really close to each other.
I thought New Zealand was like by Ireland and shit. Maybe not. Maybe I'm no. Maybe I'm.
Nah, New Zealand's definitely by Australia.
Okay, so that's what it is. Yeah. My bad. I'm not a geographer either.
If one of our subscribers are a geographer, comment below and teach us something.
Anyway, let's go to the next fight before we make ourselves look even more dumber. All right. Jamie Mullarkey versus Francisco Prado. I bet you're not going to like this one. Jamie Mullarkey, man, dude's got 10 KOs, 3 subs. He's a BJJ black belt. He's got 7 first-round finishes, 87% finish rate. He's also from Australia. All them Australian fighters are going to be coming hard. But Prado has 5 KOs, 6 subs. This is his UFC debut. He has 100% finish rate, and he's known as a Latin American prospect. So the last guy I said with the Latin American prospect and picked him ended up getting his ass kicked. But I don't know. I'm kind of feeling Prado for some reason. I know Jamie Mullarkey ain't no joke. He's coming to win. He's in Australia. Dude's a heavy hitter. Plus, he's got the submission ground if it goes to the ground. I don't think this is an easy fight for Prado by no means, but I can see Prado winning this fight, man. I really can.
Mullarkey is 3-3 in the UFC.
Yeah.
And Prado's it's his debut. He is 11-0, and I feel like this is a good winnable test for Prado. And Mullarkey, although he has good jiu-jitsu, he's more of a stand and bang fighter.
Yeah.
And I think that goes well for Prado and his grappling and wrestling abilities. But Prado's going to have a 4-inch reach disadvantage. So if he can get inside and get it down, I think that his jiu-jitsu will be, a little bit better than Mullarkey. He does have a Von Flue choke on his record.
Nice.
So I could see Prado getting it done. However, I chose Mullarkey because I think he's going to be able to keep the distance and he's going to be able to make it a brawl and not a technical fight. And I think Mullarkey will get it done by decision.
Nice. Yeah, that reach is definitely something to think about. And yeah, if Mullarkey can sucker him into just standing and banging with him, he'll definitely win the fight. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't know. I think we could see one of those like Jalton Almeida type of things where he just runs at him and tries to take him down right away. And if he gets Mullarkey down, he could be in trouble.
Yeah. There's a lot of fights on this card that it's like whose game plan is going to be
Right.
better. That's who's going to win.
That's what I love about MMA too,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah, yeah. Anybody can win, and it's whoever asserts their will is gonna end up the victor.
This next fight is a very interesting one for the Australian Shannon Ross versus the Brazilian Kleydson Rodrigues. Shannon Ross is making his debut off of a Contender Series loss.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. I don't remember if Kleydson had another opponent that fell out and they just needed to fill him in,
There
and
was
that's
quite a
why.
few.
Yeah, I know there was a lot of fallouts. So with that, Ross has got to keep the fight on the feet. He his ground, he's still young. He's 13-6, but Kleydson, he's gonna look for that takedown or that trip, and he's gonna look for the submission. And I think it's a good matchup for both fighters to test. And I don't think if Ross loses, I don't think he'll fight in the UFC again until he gets a couple of wins on his record. Kleydson is on a 2-fight losing streak.
Uh-huh.
And I think if he loses, he won't get a third fight or another fight in the UFC until he gets a couple of wins. So it's very interesting. I think Kleidson's going to get his hand raised though, even though Shannon Ross has the more like fight experience. I think Kleydson gets it done.
Nice, man. This one was a tough one for me. Like you said, though, I thought it was so weird. Shannon Ross it lost in the Contender Series, but he still. I think he was another. I could have him and the other guy confused. He was the guy who might have had the guy up against the cage in Contender Series and was winning the fight. Like he had him up against back of the cage and just got caught and got knocked out. It could have been the same with the other guys, or I could have them too confused. Uh, but it is his UFC debut. This dude comes to fight though. Plus it's in Australia as well. Always when they're fighting in their home country, like that last UFC card that was in Britain, all the British fighters dominated. It kind of happens like when you're in your home country, you get extra hype, and that's understandable. Kleydson, man, I backed him last time in his UFC debut. This dude is a like they call him a prospect. He is really young and inexperienced, like you said, though. And maybe that's why he lost his UFC debut. He just was, the big light jitters, like everybody knows. But I think Clayton's gonna get his hand raised in this one, and hopefully, whichever one loses will get one more shot on the UFC. But probably not. There's so many fighters these days, and it seems like people are getting cut a little bit quicker right now than normally.
Yeah.
Even guys that have won, like I can't remember, but there was a guy who won his last fight and got cut. I'm like, damn, like usually you win, you get to stay around for at least one more fight, but they didn't sign
Yeah.
to a new contract. So you never know. I think Kleydson gets this one. Yeah, I think he is a good prospect and he has someone to watch out for. I think they need to build him up a little bit. So hopefully they give him some good matchups to come. Man, this next fight, Josh, I can't say these names. Josh Kuablo versus Malik Baghdasaryan. Sorry, bro. I didn't get a chance to look up all these names. I apologize. Josh has
I think
5
it's
kills.
Baghdasaryan.
Baghdasaryan.
Yeah.
Nice. Baghdasaryan. Bag.
Yeah.
My guy. Thank you. Josh has 5 KOs. He's a BJJ purple belt. He's from Australia. He's coming hard. Lots of Australian fighters. I love it. Melsik, he's got five KOs. He's a kickboxer, Muay Thai fighter. He's a former K1 kickboxer, which is professional kickboxing. Plus, he is also a professional boxer. He only had like 3 boxing fights, something like that, though. But pro boxer's a pro boxer. So he's got a lot of stand-up experience. I think he's probably going to try and make this a striking fight. Josh, he's a BJJ purple belt. I couldn't find a whole lot of information on him. Australian fighter. He's not that well known in America yet. I think Josh's game plan probably would not be to try and strike with the former pro kickboxer, former pro boxer, who's a known kickboxer, Muay Thai fighter. He should probably try and take him down. If he does get him down, he could get a submission. But Josh doesn't have any submissions on his record. He's got 5 KOs himself. So that tells me Josh likes to strike as well. So, with that being said, it's probably going to be a striking match, and I'm going to have to pick Melsik in the win.
It's funny because the only loss that Melsik has on his record was via submission. And, Josh is a purple belt in BJJ. So we know he's got the ability.
Yeah.
And he's got the reach advantage.
Purple belts are dangerous, bro. Purple belts are good. You got to be good to get a purple belt. So
with the reach advantage, does he use that as, I'll just stay my distance and strike with him? But, when you're fighting a kickboxer, a boxer, and a Muay Thai specialist, striking, it doesn't matter if you're far or close, they're going to find their way.
Yeah.
And I think if Josh does not try to get a takedown and try to get the upper hand, and he tries to keep it a striking battle, he's gonna lose. So I too have Melsik getting it done.
Yeah.
This one could be a toss-up though, because this one really could go either way.
Right.
Their strengths and their weaknesses. All right, this next fight. Oh, it's the main event on the prelim.
Yeah.
Another hard name. We got Tyson Pedro versus Modestas Bukauskas. That's a fun one.
Yeah. I laughed when Bukauskas.
Tyson Pedro is the favorite. He's also a fan favorite.
Yeah.
One half of the Shui Bros.
Right. If you don't know who Tyson Pedro is, you ain't a UFC fan.
Yeah. He's very exciting, and he's very balanced in his striking and grappling. Yeah. And if I remember right, him, Tai Tuivasa, and Mark Hunt all trained together at one time. And I'm pretty sure him and Tai Tuivasa are brother-in-laws. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, because that's why they're called the Shui Bros, because they win, they do a Shui.
And one of my teammates is doing the Shui now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm like, bro, you are gross as fuck for doing that. But it's always like one of his family members or somebody like from one of his friends from like his table. It's always, somebody at least it's somebody he knows.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So Modestas, this is his re-debut in the UFC. He was 1-3 in his first stint, and he fought all strikers. Now he's coming back to re-debut, fighting a striker. So if history repeats itself, Tyson Pedro is gonna get it done. His results gonna be the same. Hand raised, Shui, celebration, Tyson Pedro for the victory.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Tyson Pedro is extremely popular. He's well versed. 4 KOs, 5 subs. I like how he's a BJJ black belt. He's a Japanese jiu-jitsu black belt. He's a Kempo black belt, which is a form of karate. I think there's something else mixed in. There's like throws or something mixed in Kempo or something like that. I can't remember. He trains at City Kickboxing too. Heavy hitter, ton of City Kickboxing guys on his car. Modestas, 9 KOs, 2 subs. Uh, he was the Cage Warrior champion. I think it was vacant, but he just became the Cage Warrior champion. Like you said, previous UFC fights, he got released from the UFC, went and won the Cage Warrior champ belt, and now he's back in the UFC. But like you said, it'll probably be a striking match. They're probably gonna brawl. Tyson's probably gonna get an early knockout, and that's just what I see coming. I'm calling first round knockout by Pedro, if not early second round. Did you look up Kempo?
I did not. I was looking up Pedro to make sure
Oh.
my facts that I was dropping were right, and I was right.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Kempo karate, you don't hear that much.
Right. Chuck Liddell,
Yeah.
Kempo. Other than that, I don't really know anybody else who did Kempo.
Yeah. Another fun fact: Tyson Pedro's father was the founder of the King Fight Cage in Australia.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
MMA runs deep.
Right. That's crazy. Interesting. Maybe that's how he even got into MMA, because of his dad.
Yeah. I mean, he was named after Mike Tyson, which it's crazy. A lot of fighters get named after Mike Tyson. Tyson Fury, Tyson Pedro.
That's funny. I never put that together. That's funny.
Yeah.
I'm slow. Wow. That's interesting. That's cool.
I like how they chose Tyson and not Mike, because then, you know, I was named after Mike from Mike Tyson, but
Right.
no, you weren't.
Yeah, right. There's Mike is pretty common. So
Yeah.
how many Tysons are there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, look at you spitting knowledge. Yeah, my boy. All right. After that, we're finally going to the main card. Hopefully, it's not 10 o'clock. I don't know what time this card starts. Oh, it's in Australia. Ooh, my ears just started ringing. So this is probably an early card, isn't it? If it's in
No, it's 9 p.m. Central Time, so it's a normal starting card. In Australia, it'll be like 4 in the morning Sunday, but
they're fighting at that time in Australia?
yep.
What the fuck? That's some weird times, like this last week's fight with Derek Lewis. The main event wasn't over till like 2 a.m. I was like, what the
So I think they did that one because
the
that
Chinese
card was
people?
supposed to be in Korea. That's why there were so many
It
Korean
was
fighters.
it was the finals to that tournament too.
Yeah.
I didn't
So
realize that.
I think they had that time slot because it would be early morning for
For all those people.
Korea's.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the
That makes
Eastern,
sense.
there's the Asias, we'll call it. Lump them
I,
all together.
I just me being a fighter, I just can't imagine having a fight in the middle of the night like that, like 1 a.m. the main fight at 4 a.m. or you know, I can see like fighting in the morning at like 7 a.m., 10 a.m. That'd be kind of cool to wake up and fight like that. But like in the middle of the night, it would seem really weird to me.
You know, when we interview our fighters, we never ask them if they train, like if they know around what time they're supposed to be fighting. So if they start training at that time or how they adjust to it.
Oh,
It's a good question for our next interview.
I like it for sure. I like it. Let's ask that. Yeah. Anyway, back to the card, main card. Jimmy Crute versus Alonzo Menifield. Jimmy Crute ain't no joke, man. 5 KOs, 4 subs, Australian. He's a BJJ black belt. He's a judo green belts, man. He's got them throws, man. Some of them dudes in judo are badass. Like they'll make you do a flip when they throw you. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, the world just spin, and I'm on my ass, and I don't even know what the fuck happened, and everybody's pointing and laughing at me now. I'm like, fuck. Anyway, Dana White Contender Series. Alonzo, he's got 10 KOs, 2 subs. He's a Muay Thai fighter. He was a collegiate football player and track and field. He's also from Dana White Contender Series. Plus, he fought in the LFA, the RFA, and Bellator. Man, this dude has a ton of experience. Big, swole-looking dude. He looks ready to go, honestly. Like, if I was fighting him, I'd be kind of intimidated just by how he looks. But I'm not a professional UFC fighter. You know, even with all that experience and the 10 KOs, I think Jimmy Crute's the favorite, and I think Jimmy's going to get this win. He's from Australia. I think he's going to be able to take anything Alonzo has. He's just got to be careful. He's got to be smart. I think Jimmy Crute likes to kind of stand and bang. He just got to be smart, use his technical abilities, and fight a smart MMA fight and not end up just trying to stand and bang with Alonzo. And he very well can win this fight easily, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Alonzo Menifield is the underdog. He's a plus 195 to Jimmy Crute's minus 230.
That's not that bad.
It's an interesting test for Alonzo, and it's a rebound fight for Jimmy. Jimmy Crute, his 3 losses have all came to top 7 or higher. Yeah. We'll say top 10 UFC fighters. Alonzo is a more powerful puncher, and he has a slight reach advantage. And Crute, like you said, Crute has that advantage of grappling. If he uses it, he can easily win. And also, if he goes for leg kicks, because Alonzo Menifield, remember he lost to Khalil Roundtree.
Yeah.
Khalil just tore up those legs.
Put him up. That's right.
I mean, Alonzo is an athlete first, football, track and field. So explosiveness is his key. And if Jimmy can take that away, it's going to be an easy night for Jimmy Crute. But I'm going with the underdog on this one. I'm going to say Alonzo Menifield's going to get it done.
Nice. I like it. I guess even I guess I had a hard time picking Alonzo just because, like you said, I see him more as an athlete and not a fighter. It's like, he was a collegiate football player, did track and field, and he didn't become a pro football player, so he's kind of just looking for a way to continue his athletic career, to be an athlete. So he became a fighter. It's where I see Jimmy Crute as a fighter. He's a
I mean, you look at OSP.
Yeah, that doesn't mean he's gonna win, or that doesn't mean he's not good, right? OSP is an insane athlete, but he's a great fighter as well. So
yeah, that one was tough for me. I just know with Jimmy's, history, right? With Jimmy's past, he had trouble against, Jamil Hill, Anthony Smith, fighters like that style, and Alonzo Menifield is
very similar
to the
the
style, like the tall, and so
right.
But that one is a great fight to start the card, like the main card.
Right.
And this next fight
should be on the card.
It's
should be on the fucking prelims, if you ask.
Yeah, I love the name. We got Justin Tafa versus Parker Porter. All right, so Tafa he's only 5-3, which is crazy for being a heavyweight male. Typically you could see like females with that type of record because it is essentially newer.
Mm-hmm.
But for heavyweights, you usually don't see an 8-fight veteran who's been in the UFC since he had 3 fights. So he's had 5 fights in the UFC. He has massive power. One thing Tafa doesn't have is cardio. And if he doesn't get you out within the first, 6-7 minutes of the fight, you got nothing to worry about. And Parker Porter, he's 12-7, and he seems to allow himself, that 3-round fight, like game plan. Paces himself the first round, and then he slowly starts to pick it up, and he can go a full 15 minutes. And I think if he can weather the storm, then he has a chance. But Justin Tafa has never lost in New Zealand or Australia. And I think it stays that way.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Tafa's going to catch Parker in the first round and get it done.
Nice. Yeah, Justin's got 5 KOs. He's a BJJ blue belt. He's the XFC champ. He has lost 3 times in the UFC. I think he really needs this win. So, yeah, being from New Zealand, Australia, he's going to be coming hard. Parker Porter, man, I'm just not that big on him. He's got 5 KOs, 3 subs. He's a BJJ brown belt. He fought in Bellator, plus a ton of other leagues. I don't know, man. There's some people who really like Parker Porter, but I'm just not that big on him. I think he's kind of a bum, in my opinion. I hate to say that. I don't think this fight belongs on the main card. I really don't, man. I just don't understand. I mean, why he gets the attention he does. I really don't. I don't know. Maybe there's something there that I'm not seeing, that I'm overlooking. But Parker Porter loses to all the big guys. I think Justin's gonna win this fight. Let's move on.
Yeah, that one wasn't fun to look up.
Yeah. I'm just not big on Parker Porter. I don't know.
He hasn't done anything to impress or catch the eye. He's not a heavyweight fighter in a sense for like fans,
And he looks sloppy. Like he's got a belly. He just kind of slings and hopes it lands, and But he can go the distance, so that is a thing for being a heavyweight. He got absolutely train railed by Halton Almeida. Ran through him in like a minute and a half, 2 minutes or something like that. There's a couple other guys. The other guy, Josh, what's his name from Minnesota? Josh, Scorpion Fighting System in Michigan. Josh starts with a P, I think.
Josh Parisian.
Josh Parisian.
Chase Sherman.
Yeah, he hasn't really fought anybody worth naming. Josh Parisian is probably one of the best fighters he fought, and Josh isn't that great high caliber fighter himself, but he is a great fighter. I'm looking forward to seeing Josh fight again in the UFC, actually. But we'll move on to the next fight. Jack Della Mandala versus Randy Brown. Man, Jack, 11 KOs, 1 sub. He's a BJJ brown belt. He's from Australia. He's the eternal MMA champ. He fought in Cage Warriors, which is like Britain's #1 MMA fighting club. If you haven't heard of Cage Warriors, you don't know that much about MMA.
Sleeping under a rock.
There's a lot of people that just watch the UFC, that just watch the Bellator, but I have UFC Fight Pass, so I'm familiar with a lot of these other events because I like to watch all these fighters. So by the time they get to the UFC, I can say, "Oh yeah, I've heard of him. I've seen this dude fight." There's that's why I like to watch the smaller cards. Randy Brown, man, 6 KOs, 5 subs, BJJ brown belt. He was the Ring of Combat champ. He's on a 4-fight win streak. I think this has a potential to be a really good fight. Man, even though Jack's from Australia and it's an Australian card, I really think Randy Brown is going to win this fight. I went against Randy Brown last time, and until he loses and loses decisively, I'm probably going to keep picking Randy Brown. Randy Brown is on a tear right now. He's hot. I think he really wants it. I think he's trying to make a run. He's trying to do it for real. I think Randy's going to win.
This is going to be a great fight.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it probably won't be fight of the night, but it should be. It could be.
It has potential, yeah.
Yeah, both fighters are brown belts in BJJ. And, Jack has the edge in striking. One thing with Randy Brown is even though he's considered somewhat of a counter striker, if he gets caught on that back foot, he tends to not pull the trigger. He waits for the right shot instead of just trying to switch the momentum.
Yeah.
With Jack being more of a pressure fighter, that could cause a little issue for Randy Brown to capitalize. But if Randy gets you to the ground, he's kind of like Aljamain Sterling. Like if he gets you to the ground, he's keeping you on the ground.
Right. Yeah.
And his win streak in the welterweight division is nothing to be laughed at. That's amazing, especially with how the division is going now. I like Randy, but if he gets hesitant, I could see Jack winning. Initially, I chose Jack, but I've had time to think. I agree. I think Randy's gonna get it done. 5-inch reach advantage is gonna be helpful, and I don't know. Against Randy right now.
I was kind of like you and picking him, like, Jack's Australian fighter. Like, dude, I don't know. He does have I think he does have better striking as well. But Randy Brown has good striking too. And I just saw something in Randy Brown in that last fight that I'm like, yeah, Randy Brown.
And Randy Brown has like the unique, unconventional striking.
Yeah.
Like he's not loopy, but he's not technical.
Right. Yeah.
And he came from looking for a fight, didn't he?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I think he did with because he fought Mickey Gall, and Mickey Gall came from it, and I'm pretty sure Randy Brown came from looking for a fight too.
That's cool.
And he's the only one that's doing well.
He's doing great.
I think he's not doing too bad, but
he's lost quite a few times in the UFC, but I think he's had like 4 losses in the UFC, but they're kind of like he'll lose, then he'll win a couple of times, and he'll lose, and he'll win a couple of times, and he's been in.
But the bad thing with Mickey is he came in the UFC 1-0, fought CM Punk. He didn't really build.
I honestly think that ruined his career, man.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's hard to slow build a fighter, especially at 1-0. Look at Sage Northcutt is another one.
Yeah, great example for sure.
Yep. All right, next fight. You ready for it?
Boy, it's
in the co-main event, the interim featherweight championship of the world. We got Yair Rodrigues versus Josh Emett. So, like I said, this is for the interim title. Both fighters are deserving, which is also interesting because number 2 versus number 5, but that doesn't matter.
So did Volk vacate the belt?
So
why? I can't remember why it's the interim title.
It's an interim title because if Volk loses, they're gonna have to, you know, get the crowd wanting to watch it. So, but if Volk wins, he'll most likely vacate. So that's what makes this fight interesting. Is yes, it's for the interim, but it could also be for the undisputed. It really depends how the main event goes.
Right.
Which that's gonna be a fun one to talk about.
Yeah.
So Yair, he's a flashy striker, but he's had issues earlier in his career with wrestling, a la Frankie Edgar. He did, beat Brian Ortega, and that gave him this.
Which is pretty notable.
Yeah.
You got the win. It's in the records as a win.
Yair Rodrigues has fought a lot tougher competition than Josh Emmett. Really, the only big name that Josh Emmett has fought in his toughest fight would be Calvin Kattar.
Yeah.
Josh Emmett's from Team Alpha Male, so we know wrestling, and he's, I believe, NAI wrestler.
Yeah.
A JUCO wrestler.
International collegiate wrestling is what.
Yeah. So we know he can wrestle, but he likes to strike, and he likes to stand and bang
all day.
If he stands and bangs with Yair and Yair's flashiness, the karate style, it's gonna be an issue. This fight go either way. I think if Emett can get it done, but he's got to wrestle. I think if he stands and bangs, Yair's going to get it done. I also think that the winner of this fight will fight Holloway or Volkanovski, but I think Holloway.
That. Ooh, I like that. I like that.
And I think they put these two fights on the same card so they can, move, because the healing timetable would put them around the same, summer for each other.
Sure. That makes sense. Yeah.
But I don't know. This one's really hard to pick.
It is. I'm glad you got to go first.
And I wrote down Emett, but I really like Yair. He's kind of the underdog. I mean, he is the underdog. Or no, I'm sorry, he's the favorite, but
can't do that much though.
5 years ago when he joined the UFC, if you told me he'd be fighting for the title, I'd be like, yeah, right.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm gonna stick with my heart. Something says that Yair's gonna get it done.
Nice. Yeah, bro. Yair, man. 5 KOs, 3 subs. He's a Taekwondo black belt. That's where all that flashy stuff comes in. Taekwondo is known for its flashy, creative kicks.
And it's hard to train for.
Hard, super hard. Yeah. They're very, yeah. It's not a usual, like Lyoto Machida was a hard style to train for. Yair has a similar hard style to train for. Yair has 6 bonuses on bonus. That's fucking $300,000 in bonuses this man has gotten. That's fucking crazy to me when you think about it like that. He was the tough Latin American winner. That's where he came from. Josh Emmett, like you said, he's that collegiate wrestler, BJJ purple belt, 6 KOs, 2 subs, Team Alpha Male. I think his most notable win is Calvin Kattar. Some people think that Kattar's striking is better than Yair's. And Josh is going to absolutely win this fight. He doesn't even need to use his takedowns. He can just stand and bang. To me, Josh takes a lot of damage in his fights, though. There's a lot of pictures of him bloody banged up.
He's got that old school style.
For sure. Straight up old school mentality. Bangs it out, doesn't give a fuck about taking the damage. Definitely going to have CTE, if not already. It's hard to pick, but it's crazy. Josh definitely deserves to be fighting for the interim title.
Definitely.
He's got so much heart, and it's just I think that's only going to go so far, though. Especially at the top level in the UFC. I mean, he's got a ton of talent, but I think you're right. I think Yair is going to win this fight. Um, I can see Josh winning it, but if Josh wins it, it'll be a 5 round fight, and he'll win by decision most likely. Um, I can see Yair finishing this fight though, honestly. Uh, so
He's got that pressure style where he just head down,
moves
move
forward.
forward,
Yep.
throws punches. And remember, Yair was losing to Korean Zombie until 4 minutes, 59 seconds in the
Yeah.
fifth round.
Uh,
And he did that spinning elbow
yep.
as a counter strike. And I just think the flashiness with the counter striking is what's going to go so far in this fight because Emmett's a pressure fighter and you just wait for it to come to you. And so that's what makes this fight really tough.
He's gonna find his moment though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's,
forgot about that spinning elbow, man. That was
yeah.
sick, dude. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're getting the win. Interim champ. Love to see him fight Holloway. Love to see him fight Volkanovski. That's a great matchup. I mean, for either one of those guys, Josh Emmett, uh, my heart kind of in the background is rooting for Josh just because I don't know. I feel like I kind of relate to him in his fighting style a little bit in his heart, and everybody has counted Josh out. Not everybody, but like not in this fight. After his Cater win, people are like Josh Emmett is the real deal, but I think Josh Emmett gets counted out a lot. Like in the Cater fight, nobody had him winning that fight. Nobody thought he was going to win that fight. So you never know.
Yeah, I think a little of it has to do with he hasn't really fought like the big name guys like Yair has.
Right.
And it's nothing on, Emmett. It's the matchmakers really.
He didn't
Uh,
pick who he fought. Yeah.
yeah. Like when Yair fought Frankie Edgar. No one wanted that.
Right.
And
Right.
it went exactly how everyone expected. And Yair's wrestling has gotten way better, but still, so it'll be interesting on what Josh Emmett will do.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely deserves co-main event though, for sure.
Oh yeah. This next fight, oh man. I'm glad you go first.
Oh yeah. We have champ versus champ main event. It's gonna be at 7 in the morning in Australia. Such a weird time. Man, Islam is the lightweight champ. He just won the belt from Charles Oliveira. 4 KOs, 11 subs. He's a Sambo master. If you know anything about Islam, you know his game plan. He's looking to take you down. He's looking to finish you. That doesn't mean he can't strike. It just means it's not what he's the best at. I mean, Sambo is like they're starting to really get known in the UFC. Sambo. There's even some talks that like, hey, Sambo is just as good, if not better, than Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
Obviously they're very similar. Um, good. You almost could even call them the same thing, just a different language.
Yeah.
Not 100%, but very close, honestly. Alexander Volkanovski, he's the featherweight champ. That's 145 pounds. He's got 12 KOs, 3 subs. He's from City Kickboxing. He's a BJJ black belt. He's fought at 45. He's fought at 55. He's fought at 70. He was the welterweight champ in another organization. He's fought at 55 plenty of times. He's moved back and forth between the two weight classes. Before he was in the UFC, I'm not sure if he did that in the UFC or not too, but
No,
no,
not in the
yeah,
UFC.
yeah, not in the UFC. So he's fought at 55 a ton of times. So he's comfortable there. He knows what it's like. Um, so I think he's very well deserving of fighting for the 55 title as well, right away. Like, a lot of people like to think like, oh, he should have to prove himself at 55, but he's already done that. Plus, he has completely dominated the featherweight. I mean, he beat Max Holloway 3 times. If you look at his strength of schedule, he's fought the who's who of MMA in the featherweight division. This is going to be a great fight, in my opinion. I think it's another one of those fights is whose game plan is going to work the best. Islam is probably going to be going straight for takedown, but Volkanovski is the takedown defense master, man. Uh, he has really, really good takedown defense, and I think he's going to have to use it. He's going to need it Saturday night. Uh, uh, you know what? I'm going with Volkanovski. I think he's going to be a double champ. I think Islam's one and done. He's not going to defend the title. Uh, I think it's going to be a rough night. I think it's going to be a great fight. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see what happens. But I think Alex is going to win.
You know, it's so hard for me to pick, like to break this one down and to pick because we still don't know that much about Islam. We
Right.
know what everyone says, like, his gym, like, oh, he's Khabib 2.0. He's better than Khabib in striking. He did handle Oliveira with relative ease.
For sure. Yeah.
No one expected that.
No, yeah.
And to that date, Oliveira was his toughest challenge. Well, now it's Volkanovski's his toughest challenge. When Khabib was, coming up, we all knew who Khabib was.
Right.
We knew he was a monster. And with Islam, we hear he's a monster.
Yes, it's a different.
Volkanovski is very, very bottom heavy. I mean, he was with the 214 pounds when he played in the rugby.
Right.
And so that raises the question, will Islam be able to get him down? We know, Sambo and Dagestani chain wrestling is one, impossible to train for because they have so many levels. They could start with your pinky toe and get all the way up to your pinky finger before you even realize, and then you're on the ground.
Right.
So the chain wrestling is a plus, but with Volkanovski's just pure strength, and he's basically a boulder with legs and arms.
Yeah, dude, he's rock solid. Yeah.
And he's got massive leg kicks.
Yeah.
Now, question is, people tried leg kicking Khabib. What do you do?
Just take him down.
Take you down. So, is Islam going to be able to do that with Volkanovski, or is Volkanovski going to be able to pepper that leg enough to make Islam not effective on the takedowns? Islam's one loss is in the UFC. It was a TKO. After that happened, they completely turned his game plans around to the safe fighter that he is now.
Yeah.
And it's works perfect for him. Volkanovski's one loss, I want to say it was before the UFC, but I want to say it was a submission. Both fighters have great cardio. I see this going 5 full rounds. I mean, Volkanovski could knock him out. He has the power.
For sure.
And the question of, is his power going to translate? Obviously. Volkanovski always trains with heavier fighters. He's said that. Islam probably walks around at 200 pounds like Khabib did. But we know Volkanovski's strong. Is he Sambo strong? If Islam can get him down, can Volkanovski get back up?
Right.
Because we thought Olivier, like, oh, if he gets down, he'll just submit him, and it's like the smush blanket, It's on you. It's on.
I mean, Volkanovski did well against Brian Ortega, who almost submitted him. Like,
Yeah,
here,
he did great.
anybody else would have tapped to that,
Yeah,
that guillotine. Like, I thought he was gonna tap. Like, so he has shown his ground game, and he can survive down there. But like you said, just surviving isn't the same as getting back up. Like, yeah, you can survive, but you're still gonna lose surviving the fight.
yeah, and you know Ortega got him down, got him caught once. What if is Islam going to be able to do that 5 times?
Right.
He only needs one takedown around if he can keep you down.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I can. I don't have. We don't have enough to say Islam is the real deal. Because if this was Habib versus Volkanovski, easy Habib all the way. Third round finish.
Right.
But we haven't seen it in fight. So I'm with you.
Yeah.
Not only is the title on line, pound for pound number 1 versus pound for pound number 2.
Right.
And so I want to say Islam. I do. But I can't be on the hype train. You got to show me something.
Yeah.
If he walks through Volkanovski like he did Oliveira, I will not pick against him for a while.
Right.
But
Right.
right now, I think Volkanovski is gonna. I think he's gonna get his hand raised because we know more about his style, and just look at him. It's
Yeah.
like a Greek statue.
I think if he starts landing a few shots on Islam, he's gonna totally throw his game plan off.
Yeah,
Like,
and Islam's never been hit hard since he got KO'd.
right, right. And I think people haven't seen that. And yeah, if and Volk's really good at stopping the takedowns. So
Mm-hmm.
if he can stuff the takedown, land a couple of shots, I think Islam's not going to know what to do next, especially if he does it 3 or 4 times. Like you said, that chain wrestling could get him, but I'm sure Volkanovski is well trained and well prepared. He knows exactly what Islam wants to do. He knows he wants to take him to the ground. And if he does, he knows he needs to get back up right away and not mess around and stay on the ground and try and play with him. I don't think that happened.
I could see this fight as being a very boring technical chess match because we
Yeah,
know Volkanovski knows Islam's going to go for the takedowns, and we know Islam knows that Volkanovski is going to try to counter on those takedowns. So I feel like there's gonna be a lot of lull periods. Also, Habib recently said that he retired from the corner. So is he not cornering Islamism anymore?
I heard he wasn't going to be cornering him. I heard.
So what does that do for Islam?
Yeah, yeah. I could mess with his head. Khabib not being there,
Well,
not being able to get advice from him in between rounds.
yeah. I mean, Javier Mendez, obviously trained both of them, so he knows, but hearing it from, Habib, his brother is
It's,
so it's gonna be a good one.
yeah, I don't think it'll play out like Thug Rose and Carla Esparza, but you're right.
No.
We could see some feel out moments,
Yeah.
a lot more.
I
Uh,
think the first round and the fourth round will be the two feel outs. And I say the fourth round because if it makes it there, they're both gonna be like, "How tired are you?"
Now what should I do? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I like that.
Well, hello.
Oh, good morning. Yeah, man. I'm excited for these fights. I know you are. I can't wait to watch them. Uh, Hopefully it won't be a 2 in the morning main event, and I
Yeah.
have to watch it the next morning, like I did this past Saturday.
Yeah.
but I doubt it. Man, Derek Lewis, man, on that 3-fight skid. I feel for him, man.
I do too. But is his heart in it anymore?
It sure
Or is he
doesn't
just
seem
doing
like
it to
it.
collect?
Sure doesn't seem like it to me, man.
Yeah.
Seems like, he just got on the ground and was just like, all right, fuck it. Like he didn't even try to get back up. Maybe he did, and I just didn't see it. But
I didn't see it. He
seems like,
got steamrolled.
yeah, it seems like he could have fucking jumped up. He could have tried to jump up, but you never know.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand. Sergi's a fucking beast. He was probably like, "Fuck this, I'm done."
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. We will see y'all this Saturday evening. Man, let us know what you think in the comments. If you like us, if you hate us, if you think we're full of shit, if you think that $10,000 I won last year isn't real, let us know. I can prove it. Man, two dudes in a cage. We are out here. UFC 284. We're growing. We're getting bigger. Like us, subscribe us. We're trying to get to that 1,000 subscribers and more, to infinity and beyond, baby. What you got, Matt?
Comment below. Let us know your picks.
Yeah, yeah. Let us know what you think. I like that. Yeah, who's gonna win? Two dudes and a cage.